Welcome back everyone. Today we are on a pond that you may well recognise. We've come back over to the Mulverns to do some maintenance on the drum filter. Before we get into that, I'm just going to spin the camera around and show you something that's looking good. We've had all the sign writing done on the van and it is looking slick. Well done to Sam in the shop. He came up with the design and stuff and I think it looks absolutely cracking. They've had both sides done and the back is also done, and the other side. So yeah, looking great. If you see me, give me a toot. If you happen to see the previous video, we came over to install a heat pump and the pond is still looking incredible. He's got blanket weeds under control. He uses the Reassemble aqua source and that's doing a great job. We don't really use that much, so I'm going to start trialling that and we'll start using it on some other ponds, see what results we get. But it's definitely keeping the blanket weed under control on this pond, considering the temperature and the amount of sunshine we've been having. Fish are doing all wonderful, looking good. He has had to have a couple of them out because they had a couple of knocks and stuff from when they were trying to spawn and from heavy feeding. But we've come over today to just give the drum a service. He had a message come up saying that the motor was blocked, so he opened the drum up. He manually pushed it round and put it back down, and then luckily it all worked again, but it's never been fully serviced. So today we're going to strip it down, which we're going to video show you what we're doing. Yeah, it may be quite hard for you to see on the phone, but the customer, so he's got the EGC Oase controls. So it's a lovely bit of kit, it integrates everything. So he's got a pump running on his skimmer, so you can turn that on and off. He's got UVs, you can turn on and off again. His pumps, again, you can turn them on and off. Some of the pumps, depending on which pumps you're using, you can actually control the flow rates and everything on the pump. You can also, if you're using lighting in the pond, you can have the colour changing ones, the RGB colour changing, and you can control the function of them lights, what colours they're on, when they're coming on, when they're going off. And then also down here we've got the drum filter, so it is well worth having it on your phone. As I say, it's an extra expense, but it will send you notifications if there's any problems with it. It tells you, so we're at 24 degrees, it's done 134 cleans in the last 24 hours. It will give you a breakdown of all your statistics over the last week, month or year, which is great to see how much you're actually cleaning when the pond's dirtier and when it's being fed heavier. You can increase your parameters and stuff on there, so you can increase your cleaning times, extra clean times. So yeah, there's just multiple settings which they can be done on the drum, but it's much easier working off your phone doing it. And obviously if you are away from the pond at any point, one, it'll ping you all your notifications if there's any problems, which then you can hopefully get them sorted before you get back. Or if you want to test anything or change anything while you're away, you can also obviously control it from anywhere as long as you've got a Wi-Fi connection. So yeah, well worth investing in and having that to know. Peace of mind, everything's running correctly. So just to go over this system before we actually start doing the maintenance on it. We've got the gravity fed drum, will handle huge amounts of water, self-cleaning. They still require maintenance, but day to day it's self-cleaning. So it will keep your water crystal clear, 80 micron mesh, so water passing from the dirty side. The only way it can get into the clean side is coming through the mesh. And so that's 80 micron, so that will keep your water lovely and crystal clear. 80 micron for context, it's smaller, thinner than a human hair. So yeah, keep your water nice and clear. We then move on, we've got 2 bio chambers on this, full of Hel-X media, great for biological, got a decent amount of air going in there. So that will handle all your biofiltration once the drum has taken and done its mechanical filtration. And then I didn't used to use these as much, but I'm becoming a massive fan of them. Is at the end we've got the pump chamber. Now these are ideal because it just keeps everything neat and tidy. You can see down in there he's running 2 pumps down in the bottom, and then we've also got the Bitron Premiums, so it's just all nicely encased in a chamber. Don't have to have tons of pipe work going to separate UVs and everything else, and it's just a lovely way to set it all up. Have these all tanks all lined up, everything nice and tidy, so they all feed off the bottom from your waste in case you do ever need to drain them down. This one on the drum you definitely should be using because you will be require cleaning occasionally on that and draining it down to get rid of any muck out of there, because you will get a build-up of muck Let's say these drum filters, they're low maintenance, but they still will require maintenance occasionally. So we'll get it all done now and show you the process. Right, as you will see here, we've got our bungs because he's on slide valves, which I say it's not a problem, but you do require the bungs because they're quite old now, so they'll be leaking through, no doubt. So we want to completely stop the water when we're doing maintenance on the drum. The first thing that I'm actually going to do is on this pond, he's got 2 side feeds that come from the side of the pond, and then he's got 2 bottom drains. So what I'm actually going to do is we're going to close this down. It's going to cause the drum to clean a lot, but the main reason for closing that down is now we're just pulling from the bottom drains, and what I'm hoping that's going to do is clear the bottom drains through a bit. So after, when we've done all the maintenance, we will purge the bottom drains through, but it will just clear out a load of the rubbish prior to us doing that at the end. The other thing as well is on this system, which we didn't actually set up ourselves, but we'll go with it, is there is no direct purge from the bottom drains, so you can't just come out and purge the water through. I just wanted to show you the drum cleaning now. You have to have this magnet which will come on the back of the lid. You can see on there, this is a magnet that we actually have because it's just for maintenance and training purposes. So you will have one of them on the back of the lid. I wouldn't recommend moving it just for health and safety reasons. That's why they put it on there, is so that the drum can't clean, you can't get your fingers trapped or anything else, and it does kick out a lot of water. But we'll show you it doing a clean now. So hopefully you can all see from where I'm filming from. You must remember on these, they only spin one way, so this spins this way because it's facing away from us. It won't really, it'll lock weight if you try and spin it the other way. So the first thing we've got to do is take the screens out. As I say, it's all, normally I have the drums the other way, so it's all a bit cack-handed and reverse on this one. But you just turn the little 2 blue clips down and then take all the screens out on the drum. So we've got all the screens out. As always, to clean it, we are using the Oase Pond Pump Cleaner, which will move biofilm, limescale, anything else. And all we do is we do a 50-50 mix. So this bottle here, I've got 400 ml in there, and then I fill it the rest with water, give it a good shake, and then we can apply a good coating on here. Yeah, generous coating on the top of each one. Flip them over, generous coating on the back as well. Obviously that's where most of your gunk is going, on the back. And then we'll just leave them to soak while we're doing the maintenance. And as mentioned, we're now going to put the bungs into these before we drain it down. As I said, it is likely that, being as they're on slide valves, it will slightly leak. So we'll get these in and that should prevent that. Right, they're all in. So next thing we'll do is open the waste and drain it down. Right then, as you can see from in there, you just get bits of waste build up and bits of algae and stuff, and this is why it's important to strip it down. One of the main things to check is the wash pump down here. That's where it draws in the water, so you must check that that's all clean. Obviously if it has got dirt on it, we're going to clean it down and just make sure that's all off. You've got your waste chute here. That's another imperative part that you check, because it's liable to get bits of algae just cling on occasionally that will need cleaning off. You've then, this is where it's going obviously into the cogs to rotate the drum, so just make sure you do get a lot of waste and limescale build up on them, I do find. So that obviously there, that's where it's calcified on there, and you've got limescale build up, so it is quite important to clean that off so that it turns freely. We've also got the motor here, so obviously you want to check nothing in the motor, check that's all freely moving. We are going to take this off as well, so check that it hasn't got any limescale build up on there, and then when we take that off, that'll allow us to take all the drum out. And then one of the important places to clean, which might be hard for me to show you, is down the dirty side, because obviously this is where you're going to get a lot of build-up of waste. And just down here, it's unavoidable unfortunately on it, but if you can just see, just down in this area here, just at the back of the rubber seal, you do get quite a bit of gunk down there. So once we've taken the actual drum out itself, then we can clean down by that seal. First thing we're going to do, just to make sure, take these off, and then we will just unscrew. We'll give these a bit of a spray as well with some cleaner again, just to make sure the jets are all nice and clean. Always check down in the jet, just make sure, as I say, you've got a bit of build up in there, so we'll just give them a little soak as well. Right, we check that's all right. The next thing we will do is just on these, if you can see on the camera, there is clips where that hold the spray bar in. Want to free them off, then that bar will pull out of there and we can move that up and out of the way. So it'll flop back down occasionally and get in your way, but we can work around that. Right, the next thing is the chute. There is a Juby clip with just a flat-headed screw on there, so we undo that, and then that will become free and loose. As you can see, it's got a Juby clip on there, and then if you look inside there, there's actually a little hard rubber locator. And you see that there's a little hard rubber locator just there, because that makes sure that it goes in the guide when it goes back onto the plastic and screws up, to make sure that it's all located and sitting in the correct position so it doesn't catch the screens. The next thing is the motor will need to come off, so you will need a 10mm spanner and a 5mm Allen key. I have done this in previous videos, and as mentioned before, just be careful, because if you drop the nuts and bolts, sometimes they can be quite hard to reach down to get them. That's your motor. As I say, just make sure we'll remove any lime scale that's still nice and greased on there, but we will re-grease it when it's going back in. So you can put that down on the side for now. Well, it's very hard to do one-handed, so we'll have to put the phone back up. But we take this clip out here, and then this pin will slide out, and just make sure you support the drum when you slide that pin out. So we'll just support the drum here, pull that pin out, and that's your drum out. So now you can see everything's out, which makes it nice and easy to see. So this will keep flopping back down and getting in your way a bit, but that's not a problem. This is the area that I was on about that will get quite a bit of waste buildup, and then this is the rubber seal, so we will lubricate this rubber seal and also lubricate this. But you can see there's quite a lot of calcification on there, which will make it, and on the rubber seal here you can feel it, it's quite rough and it's calcified, so that wants to come off because it won't be helping, and obviously water can start to leak through then. As said, then we've got a lot of build up on as well, so we'll get them all cleaned down, clean that motor. But other than that, something random come through the bottom drain or something there, plastic peg off something. Yeah, other than that, we'll get it all cleaned down and then we'll bring you back once we're done. Right then, we'll start getting this cleaned down. My one piece of advice is use the hose first. We will be using the jet wash in here to clean off the stubborn stuff off the sides, but if you go straight in with the jet wash, all this green gunk and everything is just going to blast everywhere. So if you get the loose stuff off with the hose first, at least when you're using the jet wash, You might get a bit of dirt splash up on you, but it's not going to be all this horrible green pond scum.
As said, there's no direct purge, so just raw. It's all empty. You just take the opportunity to just drain and purge the bottom drains.
Right, now we're all cleaned down. First thing we're going to do, dry this seal. I do find that the lubricant, it sticks a lot better if you actually dry the seal off first. So we'll give that a dry. I've said before, horrible stuff to use. Then is it's waterproof. Get it on your fingers, it's a nightmare to get off, but it does the job great. You just need it. Make sure if you're getting a lubricant that it's drinking standard, so it won't affect your water or anything, and do anything to the koi. And then we've dried it off the best we can. So on the outer side of this, because that's what sits in the rubber seal, I'm just going to go all the way around there with some lubricant as well. So now it's just a case of reversing the process. Quite heavy the drum is, so just be careful. So you need to get that out of the way to be able to slide it down and in. And we'll reattach the locator pin. Insert the clip. Just pull that around so I can see it. That's nice. I'm just going to dry off this outer section. I'll just dry off the plastic rim on the outside here that goes onto these locators here, and then we'll just run a bit of lubricant around there as well. Or you haven't got the motor on, obviously it's all spinning any direction. Say that's spinning absolutely lovely now. Oh, then get a waste chute back in. So you just got to line that up. Make sure it is lined up on the little locator, and make sure it's all nice and secure and level. The main thing is, as well, is it can tilt down, so you need to make sure that it's all pushed right tight up against the plastic at the back here. Make sure it's all nicely in, and then it almost looks like it's sitting slightly upper so that the water will run down. I've seen in the past where people have had problems that they think it's not cleaning and there's a fault with it, and it's just that the rubber's just over time it's become a bit loose on the fitting and it's just moved slightly. And so if you haven't got that done up really tight and set in the right position, that can give you a few problems. Motor in next. Right, there's the first one in. What I like to do is just put the nut on and just then it can't fall back off or anything. So we'll do the next one. Makes your life a bit easier. Right, there we go, that one's in now. Right, that's done back up. As I said as well, the drum, now the motor's back on, it will only spin one way, but all through this process, just make sure you're still turning nicely and freely. Right, that feels fine. Right, we'll clip the spray bar back in. Help if I put it in there. There we go, that's better. Lovely. You might be able to see on there now we've cleaned these off. They're nice and clean on the inside. That should be spraying at full power. When you're first screwing these on, don't worry too much about the alignment, because you can just get them we can tweak that after, just get them on there to start off with, and then we'll set them all up square after. Right then, we've now got clean screens. So that's just spraying them 50-50 mix on the pump cleaner, and then it's just a case of just hosing them off. And that's gone nice and clean, so we'll start putting them back in. They can be a bit tricky to start off with, but once you get used to doing them, it becomes relatively easy. Right, just before I put the two last screens in, I'm just going to take the bungs out. And we're all done. So when we're going to open the gate valves, you don't want to dump loads of water straight onto the screens because they're going to block up. So the best thing to do is just very slowly just open the screen, the gate valve, and then just give it a clean, just to slowly let the water through. Don't open it, we've literally just cranked it just an inch open, just to slowly let that water through. It'll take a while to fill, but I'd say it's better than rushing and splitting one of your screens from dumping too much weight of water on there. Water's coming through lovely, so we'll just speed it up a bit. As long as you're staying virtually at the same level on the dirty side and the clean side, then that's okay, you're not putting excessive weight on the drum. Next, we put the cover back on. It's a case of just clipping it over the jets. And there we have it, it's all clean. That's how you strip your drum down and give it a full service and then put it all back together.